You mentioned college, 2020, not getting the chance. You fast forward to 2024. What were those years like? Not being able to, at times, even play in the playoffs, other times losing in the finals. So, what was that like for you from a mental standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, mentally, I would say between 2020 and 2022 were really dark years. It took me over 2 years, I would say, to feel healthy in my ankle. I had 2 procedures done. I couldn't, all I could do was be on the court and play and do nothing else in my life because I couldn't stand, walk. And that's obviously something that you don't really go out and tell people about because you never want to use it as any type of excuse, and you kind of just take the hits as they come, rolling your way. But I had dark years of just not being able to do daily life activities because of how bad my ankle was. And thankfully I got it to a really good spot in 23, was a great year, even though we didn't win. Being able to just play and not have to stress about my ankle and stuff for me was just feeling free, even though we didn't win. And knowing all that is kind of part of your journey and story. And so for me, it was being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then winning, it kind of puts everything into perspective, how hard it is. You got to be healthy. You got to take care of your body. You got to know what it is to be a pro. And I feel like I learned that in those dark days.
Yeah, I always say, I think one of the more frustrating things about being an athlete who has any kind of injury and having to try to get to 100% in front of people, in front of fans, in games. You're only at 85, 90. You can't say it. Everybody thinks you're at 100, and you want to be like, no, this is not me yet. That's one of the harder things. And then you brought up something else that I don't think people talk about enough, which is how your life is impacted. I remember I hurt my hip. I couldn't even get in and out of my car normally.
Yeah, and I think the hard part with that was I was still a rookie. So I was trying to navigate what it was like to play professionally. The game is a completely different game than college, while also trying to manage that I physically am not at 100%. So it was this mind battle of what I just don't, I'm lost. I need help. I was I don't know what it takes to be a pro. And also that was my first injury. I had never missed many games in college. I never missed a season. I never went through rehab. So everything was new. So it was challenging, but yeah, you're right. It's just my daily life. I want to go on a walk.
I know. People don't understand that. It's it doesn't just hurt when you step on the court.
Right.
It hurts all the time.
All the time.
But yeah, so the good news is you got through the dark days. The better news is you won. Obviously you celebrate with, like you said, the champagne, the parades, all the things. But what has been the off season like? I feel the best off seasons are the ones after you win because it is so relaxing.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I think just to be able to see my family celebrate, and I feel they've been celebrating ever since we won. All they're talking about is the championship. Every moment they get, it's cheers to the championship, tequila always on deck. So it's been fun to see the impact that you have in your family and in community, and see how invested they are in what it is we're doing. But it was a pretty busy off season, off the court wise. But I was in the gym trying to work on what it is I wanted to, but there was kind of a different chip on your shoulder knowing all right, I won, and now I want to go and do it again.
You're now a champion. That's always going to be on your resume. Nobody can take it off. But now you're trying to do it again. And that has you go from hunting, chasing, like you said, to now you're being hunted. Have you thought about that and what your mindset is going to be now that you're in that different seat?
Yeah, and it's weird because I've heard just so many people talk about once you win, you kind of have that championship hangover and you're just enjoying. It's been really weird, but I feel hungrier than before to do it again. And I think it's because you know what it feels like to win and be at the top. And like just how rewarding it is as an athlete for you, for your franchise, for everyone that contributes. And it's almost like addicting. It's like, I want to feel that again. And so I worked so hard this off season on every single part of myself, mentally, physically, to be better than I was last year. And I think that's the exciting part, because I still haven't really reached, like, I don't feel like I'm in my prime yet of where I want to be, because those first 2 years, like, I was just getting by playing. Like, I wasn't really playing. I wasn't able to work on my game in the off season. I was just rehabbing. So technically, like, healthy years have been 2 years in this league of me feeling like I'm playing healthy. And so going into that, like, that third, like, really, really strong, healthy year, I feel like I'm going to be the best version of myself. Right. My husband is the same, like, we're the same in terms of, like, our families continued, like, immigrated here. Our families have just, like, meshed. And so every game there's like a minimum of 40 people that are there, loud, proud, drinking, exciting. They bring everyone in.
I saw the video of them dancing at the game the other day.
They're, like, locked in, but it's been fun. I think to put things into perspective a little bit, like, understanding what their goal was when they came to America, which was a better life for their children, and now seeing how they worked so hard for us, and now we're, like, on this big stage of doing what we love to do. And, like, I mean, that's what they came here for. And so every time, like, it's just like tears of joy for them, just like the simple things, like going to games. And, like, we would have never thought in our wildest imagination that this was something that would ever be possible. And I think you just feel the love that they have and how appreciative they are. And that's something that I, like, never forget, just the experiences that we're able to have, and how, like, my parents are just so happy all the time. And it kind of puts things into perspective when you think of just, like, what they went through coming from, like, a communist country. Like, they probably never smiled growing up.
Yeah. Well, like, I played in Russia, and I can tell you, not a lot of smiles. Yeah. Not a lot of smiles. When Dee and I first got there, Dee's first impression was like, yo, like, why doesn't anyone smile? And she was like, that's my goal. My goal is to make one Russian smile a day.
Smile.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah, it is really special. Like I said, anyone who's been around your family can feel it. Having a brother who is both, you know, beating you up a little bit, but also your biggest supporter. How do you think the combination of all of that has, like, what imprint has that left on how you play the game, how you approach the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just taught me how every time I step out on the floor, it's a blessing, but you have to go and fight and earn everything that you have. Like, nothing is given, everything is earned. Kind of having that, like, hard-nosed, gritty mentality is something I feel like I've had from a really young age, and just wanting to figure it out and not take, you know, any excuses, no for an answer. And I've watched my parents do that from a young age. They came to this country not speaking any English and just had to, like, figure it out. And from a young age, that was kind of the mentality, like, go do what everyone says you can't, because you believe in yourself. And so every time I'm out on the court, it's just like, I'm going to prove to myself why I deserve to be here, why I want to be better. But also taking criticism. Like, I know I'm not the best in every single category. And I think that fuels me to work harder and want to just be better, and not really just being satisfied with where I'm at.
When you think to your childhood, what about your actual game, right? Like, whether it's the shooting, the passing, the way you play, like, what impacted that? You know, was there somebody in the Bay Area you looked up to? Like, who had that kind of influence on you?
Yeah, I mean, I think playing with boys really, like, shaped who I was as a player, because they never passed the ball to me. So that helped me rebound. Like, I was like, if I won't get the ball from you, I'm going to find a way to get the ball.
I got to go get it. Yeah.
I got to go get it. So my rebounding, I feel like, really came from, like, playing with guys. And then I was always kind of, like, undersized. And so I had to become a really good passer to just stay on the floor. And so I was always, like, manipulating angles and finding a way. So I feel like from a young age, like, every single experience you have kind of shapes who you are as a basketball player. And then obviously growing up in the Bay Area, Steph Curry is who you like idolized. And so from a young age, it was like I went to games. He was that young rookie coming in, and I was like, I want to shoot like him. I want to be like him. And I want to be like who he is as a person as well. Like he was always that like nice, kind, warm, like person that everyone talked about. And I was like, that's who I want people to know me as off the court as well.
Right. Well, I mean, you're setting me up nice here because I am so curious about what it was like, a Bay Area kid, like in a 3-point shooting contest on national TV against Steph Curry, like Mr. Bay Area, Mr. Warrior, during NBA All-Star with the whole world watching. I'm like really trying to set this up because as I was watching it, this is what I was feeling. Like a little bit of, oh my God, the weight of women and girls are on her shoulders right now.
I know.
I mean, what the fuck was that like?
스테픈 커리 대 사브리나의 맞대결. 이게 가능한 게 저는 사실 어떻게 저 라인을 두 개를 같이 했었는데 그게 아니군요. LED라서.
좋습니다, 사브리나.
자, 사브리나 갑니다. 사브리나 갑니다.
스타트 좋습니다.
스타트 좋습니다. 자,
좋습니다. 사브리나.
자, 사브리나.
바로 머리볼전입니다.
사브리나. 자, 또 던집니다.
사브리나 좋아요. 사브리나.
사브리나.
대단합니다.
야,
커리.
인정. 코너가 바뀌면 좀 어려울 수 있거든요.
맞습니다.
네. 자, 던집니다. 마지막. 머니볼까지. 치기 갑니다.
근데 시간이 남아요.
진짜 빨리빨리 던졌네요.
23점.
이 거리가 이 선수의 원래 거리가 아니에요.
그러니까요. 먼 거리거든요.
좋습니다. 야.
이렇게 되면 아까 탈락한 선수
I felt that and he felt that. We both felt the pressure. Like it was real. We were nervous. Like we were kind of talking before, but there was just like this like nerves and fidgety, and it was weird because we weren't really like trying to necessarily beat each other. It was more like we understand what this shootout is doing for the landscape of sport. And for me, it's tough because that's my idol. Like I didn't really go in with like, oh, I'm gonna beat him. Like, it's like, I didn't really have that, like, I hate you and I want to beat you. It was like,
I love you so much.
Yes. I'm like,
I respect
grew
you
up
so much.
watching your highlights. I watch them all the time. So it was a super weird dynamic. But once I got out there and started shooting, I was like, oh my gosh, like we're showing every young girl that is watching and young boy that like, you can go out there and just do it. And after it finished, we gave each other this hug of like, oh, like we did it. We did it. It's
relief.
over. It's over.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, like, listen, from my perspective, of course, the absolute best case scenario is you winning. But in some weird, wonderful way, it like was the best case scenario. It's like, yes, I would have preferred if you won, but you like beat everybody else who participated in the actual 3-point contest. Like your score beat it. You lost to, Steph Curry. Like, there's no shame in that. And you really, on a humongous stage with so much weight, performed so well. And I think, I'm definitely curious about just like where that type of confidence comes from because you continue to show it. I feel like we've touched on it a little bit. But
I shot from the NBA line.
Yeah, and people were talking shit about the fact that you were shooting with a woman's ball. They were like, I was like, she's getting ready for the Olympics. And the WNBA says she's not going to switch balls.
No, I was like, you guys want me to do like switch everything right now?
Yeah, right. You shot from the NBA line. How many times have you been playing pickup with other women and there's a guy that enters the picture? Maybe it's practice players, whatever. And you're playing with a woman's ball. And what do? Bitch and moan about the ball. How do you guys play with this ball? If anything,
it's so small, it's so this, it's so that.
Yeah. If anything, it's harder to shoot with a woman's ball in a lot of ways. You might have done better with a men's ball. That's what I was telling people when they were trying to bring that up. I was like, she might have done better with the men's ball.
I know, and it's funny because it was something I actually had talked to Steph about at some point when we were hearing people were talking about it. I was like, I'll freaking shoot with any ball. Like, give me a few weeks to practice because it's just different. Like, if he had to shoot with a woman's ball, he probably would have lost and not made nearly as many. It's like, you're just used to shooting with the ball you always shoot with. Athletes can switch over. Like, we would figure it out, but
Definitely.
It's one of those things where it's like, if he would have shot with our ball, he would have shot probably really poorly. And I think people just don't realize that don't play basketball how hard it is to just switch the balls out.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so